18 months ago, I finally started investing at 33 years old, and I absolutely made it much harder than it needed to be. But that wasn't because that I made terrible investments or lost loads of money or made some other massive catastrophic mistake, yet anyway. I made it much harder than it needed to be because I thought that I needed to get everything right. So everything from the platform to the funds to the individual stocks themselves, the actual amount that I was investing, the strategy as a whole. I spent years thinking that investing was something that I needed to fully understand before I could begin. And looking back now, of course, with the benefit of hindsight, right, I think that mindset probably cost me much more than any other bad investment could have. Now, obviously, this video is not financial advice for yourself, and you should do your own research. And remember that when you're investing, your capital is at risk. This video is simply just how I've personally approached my own investing, what I've learned over the last 18 months or so using my own real money and making my own real mistakes along the way. And if somebody asked me to sum up my first 18 months or so experience as an investor, I think it'd be something like this. I'd say something like lots of the things that I thought were going to be really important, I'd given loads of thought to, didn't actually matter. And then loads of the things that I hadn't really thought about at all really mattered. So let me explain in a bit more detail. When I started investing, age 33, just over 18 months ago, I did genuinely feel late to the party. And I've spoken about that in much more detail in a recent video, so I'm not going to go over that again today. What I haven't really talked about is how my personality almost stopped me from investing altogether. I've always been a bit all or nothing personality wise, so my thought process goes something like this. Like, if I can do something properly, then I'll do it. If I can't do it properly, whatever properly is, then I don't do it at all. And for years, with regard to investing, that just became nothing more than an excuse. I'd convinced myself that there wasn't much point investing small amounts of money. I wasn't going to be able to max out an ISA allowance. I wasn't going to be able to invest thousands of pounds every month. I wasn't sitting on some huge lump sum to be able to put into the market. So I convinced myself that, well, I'll just wait. And looking back now, I know that sounds ridiculous and stupid, but I think loads of people do exactly the same thing. And that is that we compare what we can do to what we'd ideally like to do and decide that it isn't even worth starting. And the funny thing is that, of course, if I just started smaller, I'd almost certainly be in a better position today if I'd started earlier. Let's say, for argument's sake, I'd invested just £200 a month for 5 years before I actually started. I know that's still a lot of money in a long time, but that's £12,000 invested before any growth whatsoever. Instead, I spent those years doing what a lot of people do: thinking about investing, reading about investing, watching loads of videos like this about investing, and definitely planning to invest. But crucially, not actually investing. And that's probably the first thing that I'd do differently. So I'd definitely start earlier, of course, but I'd actually start smaller. And that's because starting badly is usually better in the long run than not starting at all. Once I did finally get going though, I did make another completely different mistake, and that was that I just started obsessing over everything, all the little details that didn't really matter. Suddenly, I wasn't worried about whether I should invest, yes or no. I was worried about whether I was investing correctly. So, should I buy the S&P 500, or the FTSE All World, or individual stocks, or accumulation or distribution funds, or dividend stocks, or UK companies or US companies, more tech heavy, less tech heavy? You get the idea, right? And looking back, I don't actually regret a lot of that, because one thing I have realized over the last 18 months is that curiosity is valuable. Very early on, I probably spent slightly too much money on individual stocks, and today my portfolio is about 80% index funds and 20% individual stocks. My goal at the minute is to work towards having 90% of my portfolio in index funds, but I'm not going to be doing that by selling any stocks. I'm not going to say I've made a mistake and I'm changing my portfolio. I'm just going to be doing it by investing all my new money into index funds, probably for the remainder of 2026, because as said, I don't regret buying those individual companies. And I don't not regret it just because they have done well. I don't regret testing dividend stocks. I don't regret comparing different approaches or exploring different ideas. I think one of the reasons that I've stayed interested in investing for a year and a half at the time of recording, is that I've allowed myself to explore it. The danger would have been becoming like so fixated and rigid on one specific strategy that I perhaps lost interest altogether. And to me, if investing becomes something that feels like a chore, maybe one day I just stop because it's boring. The key here is that I've learned that experiments are absolutely fine as long as they are like relatively sensible and they remain experiments. When I bought dividend stocks, for example, I wasn't betting my whole future on them. The same with other individual companies. I wasn't banking on the fact that these were going to do well and that's the only way I'm going to succeed. The backbone of my portfolio is still diversified index funds, and I feel much more comfortable with that now than I did 18 months ago. The third thing I do differently is to stop checking the damn app every 5 minutes, and I do mean that literally in some cases. When I first started investing, every movement feels really, really important and like it's going to be make or break. You're up a tenner, you're down a tenner, disaster if you're down, amazing if you're up. When the numbers grew, so maybe you're up £500 in a month or down £500 in a month, letting that be like the defining factor as to whether I'm enjoying investing or succeeding in investing, like, what have I done to create this number? Everything felt significant because the portfolio was new and therefore the ups and downs were quite volatile. Red days felt like terrible days and green days felt like amazing, you're doing something right. But the reality of that is that all of that, in fact, is just noise. One of the biggest mindset shifts happened when my portfolio dropped by over £1,000 in a month. At the time, sure, it felt enormous and it wasn't great to see. I remember checking it constantly, refreshing it, hoping it wasn't going to go down anymore. And then a few months later, the portfolio gained about £1,500 in a month. And that's when something clicked in my mind. The market hadn't suddenly become like smarter when it went up and it hadn't suddenly become broken when it went down. It was just doing what markets do. Looking back, I confused movements in the market with actual meaning. Those things aren't the same thing. And something else I do differently is spend less time worrying about returns. When I started investing, I cared massively about performance. Was I beating the average market returns? Had I picked the right stocks? Was my portfolio growing fast enough? Was I doing better than other investors I've either seen online or know in person? 18 months later, I've realized something, and that is that the biggest determinant of my portfolio isn't the return, it's whether I keep investing next month and the month after that and the month after that for many years to come. The biggest surprise of all is the thing that has made the biggest difference to my portfolio isn't any stock I've bought, it isn't any fund I've bought, it isn't any clever decision I've made, it's the roughly £800 a month that's gone in consistently, so far so at least. That is it, it's as simple as that. The thing that I spent the least amount of time worrying about has actually turned out to be the most important thing, so how much money I can actually put into the market. Didn't give it too much thought when I was starting, but now I've realised that's the main driver, especially early on. And I think that's a really useful lesson for me, far beyond just investing, because it makes me increasingly believe that successful investing isn't really about intelligence, it's more about behaviour and habits. So can you keep going? Can you keep investing when the market is down? Can you keep investing when everyone's telling you that something else is better? Can you keep investing when it's boring? Because investing is, to be honest, sometimes really surprisingly boring. Most of the time, nothing exciting happens. And most of the time, the answer is exactly the same as last month. So just keep going, just keep investing, just keep waiting. And that's where I think I got things most wrong at the beginning anyway. I thought that investing success would come from making brilliant decisions. 18 months later, I think it mostly comes from avoiding stupid ones. And perhaps the biggest lesson of all is this. The version of me that started investing wasn't really trying to build a portfolio. I was trying to build certainty. I wanted the right answer, the best answer, the perfect answer. I wanted somebody to tell me exactly what to do. Buy this, use this platform, choose this fund, invest this amount and everything will be fine. But investing does not really work like that. In fact, the more that I've learned, the more I've realized that nobody really knows what's going to happen next. Not the YouTubers, not the economists, not the fund managers, not the people on social media who sound incredibly confident, Nobody. And strangely, I've become much more comfortable with that. The version of me sat here today is far more comfortable with uncertainty. I don't know which stocks will perform best over the next decade. I don't know which country will lead the world economy. I don't know whether dividend stocks will outperform index funds. I don't know whether interest rates will rise, fall, or stay the same. I don't know what the market will do next year. What I do know though is that I can and will, so long as I can, keep investing. Whether that's £10, £50, £500, whether life is going brilliantly or throwing me challenges, I can keep investing. And over the last 18 months, that's become enough. If I had to start all over again tomorrow, I wouldn't focus on finding the perfect investment. I'd focus on becoming the sort of person who invests consistently. Because after 18 months, that's the lesson that matters the most. Not what I bought, not which fund I picked, not whether I beat the market, just that I finally started. And hopefully you have or will do soon too. So if you've enjoyed this video, please do hit the subscribe button down below and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much for watching.